Konnichiwa! In today's show, we're going to be playing through one of PlayStation's best first-person shooters that amazingly most people have never heard of. Game... Today, first-person shooters make up one of the most successful genres in video games, but there was a time where you could count the number of first-person shooters on one hand. It wasn't until we got to the 32-bit era of consoles, so the Sega Saturn and the Sony PlayStation, where we really saw the potential of first-person shooters. Now, while the PlayStation's had some great first-person shooters, Doom being the best port of Doom ever on the PlayStation, and then we also had games like Alien Trilogy, which was fantastic, there was one first-person shooter that went relatively unnoticed on the PlayStation, Exhumed, or Power Slave if you were in the States. Its lead console was the Sega Saturn, but it did eventually make its way onto the PlayStation, where it saw a number of upgrades, including running at a variable 60 frames a second. It is without doubt one of the best first-person shooters that you can play on the PlayStation, and we're going to take a look at it now.
You have found one of the 6 sacred artifacts, and your worth as a sturdy slave has been proven to the Council of the Gods.
So this is one of my favorite first-person shooters on the PlayStation. Actually, I didn't discover it for quite a while. I had it in the collection for a long time. I bought it when it first came out and maybe played like maybe the first level on it. And then I think something else. I think maybe I was playing Alien Trilogy or something else came along and I didn't go back to it. It was only when I got my PSP modded to be able to play PlayStation 1 games and old retro games. Remember that? So I got my PlayStation, I did my PSP in the exactly same thing, and I put this game onto the PSP, and I just absolutely rinsed it. And then I went back to the original PlayStation 1 version and played it again through there. It's just an amazing game, and what we'll do is, I won't start at the beginning. I've played a couple of levels in, so it's a little bit more exciting, so you don't go through the kind of whole tutorial bit. But what's happened is, there's been a dig, and they've unearthed an evil, and the world's forces have gone in and tried to take out this evil ancient Egyptian army, and they're failing, so they send you in as a lone soldier to take out the nasties. But it's just absolutely brilliant. I know this came out on Saturn, and kind of Saturn diehards will swear by this being better on that platform, but for a PlayStation game, it's just great. I mean, I'm running 60 frames a second most places. You know, when you come up with some enemies or come up against a lot of enemies, it tends to dip down again. So the camel here that you can see, that's how you move between levels. So the movement's great, it's really smooth, brilliant playing this at mostly 60 frames a second. I love this kind of rock it's got to it as you move. It's got this kind of inertia. It just makes everything feel a lot more like actiony, like you're running. It's got a kind of semi-auto lock on. Yeah, it's got a semi-auto lock on for taking things out. I think on the Saturn version you get a full auto lock on. So there's only one height. Obviously you have to jump to get to kill other things. But apart from just movement and the gunplay, the levels are extremely well built. It's one of the first PlayStation 1 games I played where it had multi-levels. Like PlayStation struggles with putting like a room on top of a room. It doesn't do true 3D very well. But this game has it, and it's got slopes and stairs, and again, they kind of sound like standard things, but the PlayStation really struggled with that. And again, look, this is running super smooth. So in the options, there's a ton of things. So we've obviously got the map. If we come out of the map here, so you get the map on screen, very Doom-like. And then if we go back into the options again, weapons. So I've moved 3 levels in, so I've got this huge gun here, and then you get artifacts. So the artifacts are basically abilities. And so I've collected some sandals, and these sandals allow me to jump higher than normally. Usually you jump about like that high, but with these sandals you can jump all the way up there, which is cool. And this is brilliant because essentially you've got multiple exits out of a level, and each one of those exits leads to a new level. So collecting these special abilities and these power-ups make a big difference. Let's get inside and do some shooting and killing. What do I do here? Oh yeah, that's it. So you can see it's got this kind of pseudo 3D, well, it's got full 3D environment, and then the background here, all the kind of objects are all 2D. So it's a 2D / 3D game. It's just great. It's just such a fantastic game. I think, you know when you play a groundbreaking game for the first time, like Doom? The first time I played Doom, I was just blown away by it. Or Street Fighter. It was just, you know, it's just one of those games you're just absolutely blown away by how amazing, how groundbreaking it is. So this isn't that game, but this is more like playing Uncharted for the first time. Everything is just really, really well done. Everything's polished. It's got new mechanics, new ways of doing things. The depth is fantastic in the game. It's just really, really, really well built. Well designed. Check out this guy. If he let me shoot, I'll let him shoot me. Look at that. It's got some real time. You've got that kind of real time lighting going on there as well as that blue fireball comes down and attacks me. And then it does other things really well, like transparencies are really nice in this. Overall level structure and design are really good. It's got the secrets like you would do in Doom. And you get nasties. There's one part in the game where you get these mummies attacking you, and when they attack you, you turn into a mummy yourself, and then you get the mummy powers. And then you go around kicking the shit out of all these mummies, which is brilliant. But I'm playing with a DualShock at the moment, and it doesn't actually support DualShock, so every now and then I kind of slip back into playing with the DualShock. So as well as collecting artifacts, you've also got transmitter pieces. Now you need to collect all the transmitter pieces from the various levels that they're scattered around in order to get the good ending. So there's two endings to the game. There's a good ending and a bad ending. Can't remember what happens in either of them because it's so long ago since I've played it. So first-person shooters weren't huge. You know, they were getting traction. It wasn't like Halo had happened at this point yet. It hadn't really gone mainstream on consoles. But there were definitely some great games out there for first-person shooters. This is kind of like, I think this generation was the generation you started to see the popularity of first-person shooters, or at least first-person shooters going mainstream. The attention to detail is fantastic. And there's a couple of good videos on YouTube about how they made this game. Apparently it's one guy who rewrote the engine specifically for consoles because it's on Windows first. And so he rewrote the engine to work on consoles. But it's an amazing visual achievement. You've got this kind of Quake-esque visual quality happening, but still with that kind of Doom single-player brutal gunplay that you have, which is awesome. Have I got any weapons for that? No, I haven't got any weapons for that. Oh, time it. Brilliant. Oh. And it's pretty intense. And I'm gonna die. Don't die. This is... Where'd he go? Oh, he's down there. That was intense. It is so great. I think the fact that it runs at 60 frames, or kind of like a modest 60 frames a second, I think it definitely struggles at points to hit full 60 frames, especially when you get a lot of enemies on screen. Just, oh god, I'm out of weapons. So I really love the amount of verticality they bring into their gameplay in this. So normally you wouldn't be able to jump up there. I got the sandals of awesome jumpingness that allow me to jump up there. But yeah, I love the verticality they've brought into their gameplay. Like Doom really didn't have much verticality, and I guess that's because it was essentially a 2D game. Oh, I should have gone through the door rather than go through this. This door is sealed. Oh, damn it! Have I got the big gun? There you go, that's better. Yeah, so the verticality in here is fantastic. Yeah, like I said, Doom's got 2D verticality, 2D gameplay, and there's, you know, you go up some levels and down some levels, but there's no real verticality in it. It's not true verticality in there. And I think the same for Alien Trilogy. It's kind of more a 2D playing field that you're on. But the 3D in this is just brilliant. It's just great. It makes a huge difference. I think this is where I got the sandals of awesome jumpingness around here. Yeah, this is where I got the sandals in here. And then I can jump up there. Let's jump. Right, and then you get this, and this is an artifact, and then this takes you back to the main map. But it's brilliant. If you get a chance to pick this up, I definitely recommend it. It is by far one of the best first-person shooters on the PlayStation at the moment. It's definitely worth investing in. In fact, I have, how much is it? Let's find out how much it is to buy. So on eBay at the moment, you can pick this up for about £20, was that $25? In fact, you got some of them going for about £10, what's that? Maybe $13. So definitely check out Exhumed or Power Slave in the US. It's a great first-person shooter. I can't recommend this enough. If you enjoyed today's show, why not subscribe by clicking on my little pixel head below. Join the Retro Gamer Boy community today and just indulge yourself in retro gaming goodness.